Okay, so starting again, somewhat fiddled with the sound button, and it wasn't my elbow. Good afternoon, Gaia, and all who inhabit her, from wherever you are on the planet. Welcome to Thornybush Private Nature Reserve this afternoon, and welcome to our PM Safari. My name is Mark. Brian is with me on camera this afternoon, and Aaron is Captain Aaron, captaining the ship at sea, flying up through space at, gosh, who knows what speed it is. So while this planet turns, I'm going to take you to something that lives on this planet that we found this morning. It's rather a strange creature. Has big teeth. They're big animals. They look really cuddly, but then they can get rather aggressive. They're kind of a tawny color, about the color of the grass. They seem to have very big paws with these hidden stilettos. And then 1 minute there's a paw and the next minute they're just claws. And as cuddly as they look, they actually killed and devoured another creature of this planet. A rather strange looking creature that walks on a single toe on each foot. It walks on the tip of one toe on each foot. Can you imagine that? Actually, it's the middle finger on the front legs probably, and it's possibly the big toe on the hind foot. Although I'm not too sure about the hind foot, but possibly. And it's got these black and white stripes. Really strange creature. Anyways, these two big cuddly looking creatures that are all fluffy, and you think that they would be fluffy toys on a bed somewhere. They killed the stripy creature and were eating it. Really strange. You'd think in a planet like this, everything would be living in peace and harmony. So we're going to go and look for them. Or rather, we don't need to go look too hard. Well, unless they've got up and walked away, they're going to be around there somewhere. They have been disturbed a couple of times today. But at least their food will still be there, their breakfast. Steamy, well, misty morning. It was a steamy sea. I want that to do. There was a steamy scene as they tore open the zebra's carcass and broke open the stomach contents, and then he removed that, and I think it was the lungs and the internal organs that just released almost like a cloud of steam. It was a surreal morning. It was something out of another planet, which is why I've been talking the way I've been talking. Our planet Earth. Interestingly, there's a little water hole up ahead where we're going to turn off. Actually, we'll just go past the water quickly, and I can be pretty certain they're going to come and drink here later, because they drink. First of all, they hunted. These are two male lions. They hunted themselves. They brought down this zebra, adult zebra, eating it. They've taken in a lot of moisture from the blood. At one point, there was one actually lapping up blood in the chest cavity. And I don't know, it sounds gruesome, but nature is indeed. But it is very salty, high sodium content. So they're going to come and they're going to get thirsty and hopefully come and have a drink later. But until they do, I don't think they're here now. We're just going to set the scene. So we're going to be here. They're going to come down and drink right in front of us in the late afternoon sun. Or maybe they'll come up the back there. shed leading down to the waterhole. I don't know what to expect. All the Gabby and the water over the Gabby like that too. Otherwise it's going to make gullies. A fair amount of vehicles have been in and out of this new road. There's a new road being cut, and instead of having to drive along the fence line, we're actually going to take the internal route. Of course, this morning I didn't know that we could do that. When we found them, they turned out to be on exactly in a little opening that has been created by these people that are reopening some of these roads. And you've seen some of the piles of wood on the side. We were with some elephants where there was a couple of piles of wood. And these little roads serve sort of a double purpose, or rather the opening of the bush on these roads. Not only affords better visibility with the animals, but it provides a pretty good fire break if need be. Of course, a hot raging fire is not gonna bother with a little road like this. It'll hop this road so quickly and easily. Well, you can see to the side, probably about 2 meters each way of the road in most cases. So you can see about 6 feet each side of the road, 6 to 8 feet each side of the road. Everything's been cut. I'm gonna just listen to this Shangan going on the radio. If I can hear it even. Okay, so it's talking about the lion and then the zebra. Right, elephant now. Cool. Heading up something. Oh, and the herd of buffalo. Okay, well, guys are a little bit too for me to hear their radio, so that's going off. Now it would appear that these lions might be brothers. The youngest of the two boys is our little boy, who we've been seeing quite a bit of in the last couple of weeks. The young male who, gee, he must know his way around this property like the back of his paw, because yesterday evening he was up in the northwest, and today he's in the southwest corner catching a zebra with who is possibly his older brother from a different litter. In fact, it is highly likely that it's his older brother from a different litter, because the guys are going to try and find out answers, and maybe tomorrow I'm going to go up to the lodge and I'm going to take some photographs and I'm going to see if we can solve that issue. But he was covered in blood and his mane was kind of wet and scraggly because he'd been catching a zebra and rolling around in the dew and putting his head, never mind, I won't get too much graphic detail. But he's definitely not the male from the north, because this young male would not just missed it. Antenna at the back with the terminator. There's no one else he would sit on a carpet with, and the kind of interaction that they had, although it wasn't brotherly love, it was only really aggression. It's the typical kind of aggression that you'll get from siblings on the same carcass. I've seen it with lion, leopard and cheetah. It sounds worse than it really is. I mean, it sounds vicious and it sounds I mean, it's like really sounds like they're going to bust and kill each other. Meanwhile, it's just leave it alone. It's mine. Familial ties fall away completely as soon as there's food on the table. Brotherly love goes out the window. But they possibly both engaged in the hunt. In fact, it is highly likely that they used some sort of strategy to catch the zebra and were content to feed it together, because one zebra, two brothers. No one needs to be a mathematician. Half a zebra is a pretty big meal. Not like they caught a tick or an impala or something, and then they would have really been a little bit of aggression in fighting over the pieces. But this was big enough that they managed to eat it. There's a citrus swallowtail butterfly. It might fit, but citrus swallowtails, much like the Caraxine, are very, very fast. It's the biggest butterfly we get here. Papilio demodocus demodocus. Finding something to sit on just up ahead. There's some host plant in there that it wants. It has one of the most interesting larvae in the fifth and final stage, final instar stage. There's something in there that it needs, but it's being hassled by the grass not letting it land, but there's something in there that it's picking up that it wants to taste. So much energy. Flies away, comes back, and it smells it again. Did you? No, it's gone. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Lions to butterflies. Oh, you know about the chaos theory, of course.
Yeah.
So there's a second one. The second one that just flew across the road now. So their host plant is, well, they're not called citrus swallowtails for nothing. Their host plant is for most members of the citrus family. So we've got a mimic here. We've got a tree here that isn't citrus family, but it's called citrus bush. And if you had to smell it, it would smell like lemon peel or orange. It's very citrusy. I wonder if somebody hasn't arrived here yet. Hope not. This will give this opening of these roads is now giving us a whole new couple of loops to come on. And look how nice this is. Yeah. Sorry. They're up with two boys. Any stations south on Ilkley? No, it's not. Jolly good show. All castles. Okay, we still want to look for leopards though today. And giraffe. Oh, guess what, Sharon? Time to giraffe. I'm at Mark here. I was just wondering if anybody was on Ilkley. Yeah, firm. No combat fish. Okay, copy. Do you know where they were left? Okay, here's where the kill is. Alright, I'm sure I'll find it. Yeah, the zebra dung. Okay, so the carcass is, there's one line there. I can see just the corner of his mane. He's sitting in the shade. I'm not too sure where he is. So if we're going to don't make too many sharp movements. I think this is our, yes, this is our young boy. I can see his teeth, or rather his lip. The big boy must be down there. He's back at the carcass. This is not going to be good for recording. Hang on. And we can go that side. We can try and drive past. No, it's not bright enough. No. I'm looking on the 3D view. Okay. So this is our young male, everybody. Back at the carcass. And other male is not here. He's a little bit shy. He was a little bit skittish this morning. Not skittish. He was a little bit, what's the word I can use? Yeah, antsy. That's a good one. He did look at us a good few times. This young man knows us. He's heard, oh, yes, thank you. Those are your weapons that you just killed a zebra with. He is Arsenal. He's like got all of those things in his mouth, and then he's got 10 other sharp things on his hands. Well, 8. Dew claws don't count. 8 other sharp claws. Very big, sharp claws. Another yawn. Get up again. Yes. What's the vulture? There was a vulture that flew from the tree as we were approaching. And interestingly, this was a white-headed vulture. There wasn't a hooded, and there wasn't a bateleur or a tawny, and a white-headed vulture. They are kind of intermediaries between the hooded vultures and the bigger vultures. Solitary. And it's not unusual for them to find a carcass first either. There's actually very obvious reasons why we don't have any raptors here. Knowledge. Vultures. We're in a bit of a vacuum when it comes to avian scavengers. Not to say they don't come and eat something. Facing that way. No, but what we can do is come in from the fence. So that it's going to be looking straight into the sun. But I can. The other thing is that there's another yawn. Okay, what I'm going to do first, Brian, is he might get up. He's starting to yawn and get into his blood and thinking about doing something. But I want to see if we can see the other boat. I do. No, let's see if we can see that other male where he's sleeping. Maybe we can get a nice shot of him before we have to move out, because there are other vehicles going to be coming here very soon. Seems like whoever was here this morning done a few rounds. Another male. And of course what happens is in the morning sun you have shade on the west side of the trees. So now if he was on this side of the road, he's going to be on the other side of the trees, so I might not see him. There is some very good shade around here. Places. But we don't really want to disturb the sleeping lion, do we? There's a wildebeest. No, it's a nyala. Why do I think wildebeest? There's another nyala. No, they're nyala. They're two. Not a bull standing there, just brown. Wait. Oh, there he is. Okay, so here's a flat. He's putting his head low. He's also probably watching those nyala. Not that I think he's going to do anything. I don't think he will be able to. But I don't think we're going to get to hear him much. Maybe. No. Like there. You can just see the corn, but he's putting his head down. He's telling me he's not happy. So I'm going to leave him there. And we're going to go back to the zebra and other male and leave him be. Yeah, that's cool. And you can hardly see him, just see his ear flicking when it does. So there's no way we can get closer to him. Lifting his head as we move along, but as long as we're looking, got a clear line of sight to him, he's putting his head down. He's not as relaxed as his brother, or supposed brother. So yeah. We'll try something. Unfortunately, there's all this wood in the way, otherwise we could have turned it nicely straight towards him, but I could try something. He's turned around now, so just keep the antenna on the edge of the tree. He might not mind if we get this close. He does. He's come close to us. Don't move too fast, eh? Can you move the camera? Oh, you can. Can I stop there? Okay. Hello, boyki. Hello, boy. You can relax. Be fine. Be fine. Be fine. Hello, my man. Hello, my man. Blink your eyes if you look. And he blinks back. And if he does anything, I'll throw my jersey at him. Because he's not really happy about us. A little bit of a frown. Let's get a little bit of footage of him here. There we go. He's softened and he's... No, dude. He's a a lot more for him to be cuddly, but hello, Phyllis. Hi, Phyllis in Boston. I can't talk too loud. I'm sitting right next to a lion on his kill, and he's been past the vehicle a couple of times, fairly close, but we are rather close to him right now. And the zebra is just to his left, hidden in this bush below, quarry bush, and a baby jackalberry. Phyllis wants to know that this morning you saw them eating the meat. What happens to the skin? Well, they eat the skin as well. They will chew through the skin to get to the meat, and they will eat the skin. On a large animal like a zebra, the hair will come out through the digestive system, and it will come out with the feces. But they can chew and digest the skin. It's quite a thick skin and has a very important layer of fat just underneath it. He's looking up. There might be birds. I can't really see. I've got an acacia above me. Might be interesting because in a short while we might actually be able to see his dung, and we'll be able to see the hair that comes out of it. As maybe unpleasant as that may sound, just an interesting profile, this young man. He's really a Mohican. Okay, I better tell the boys. Wait, Aaron, sorry, you got to switch you off. Oh, didn't like that. Oh, the tail started to wag a bit. Oh, Jesus, Alpha, God, like, shut up. I would fire him. If he came back to the lodge tonight, and I'd fire him. I'll change the subject. There's a dwarf gecko on a piece of wood there chasing flies that are probably coming around because of blood and ball, which we're sitting right on top of, by the way. Look at all the flies on his flank. Can you kind of get close to them? bad angle. Okay, well we're going to turn around now. We just need different angles, and we're going to be pushed out of here soon. So we need to go forward. We'll come back this way. We'll see if we can maybe look at him in a bit of this. The sun's not causing too much of a trouble. Station Simadodongala on Mangwabamba from this morning along Eastern Fence line south of the Timbabati. Mark your go. Yeah, one Madoda is Malapazi right next to the Nyama. Other Madoda is lying in the Shatin about 100 meters away. Okay, copy. 5 out of 5 visual for one Madoda, maybe 1 out of 5 for the other one. Cars here.
Yeah.
Is that any good from here? Oh, I can do this. Forward, left.
No, that's the best you're going to get.
That is rather an unusual view, and there's a very good reason for him doing this actually. When we were approaching, there was a vulture in a tree, and very often you'll find, well, what he did this morning, they'd killed it just off of my front right. Sorry, I must turn this down, but I have to keep it on because they want to talk to me. Well, then they'll just call endlessly like he does. But they killed the zebra right here in the road. The carcass, we should be able to see it shortly. Was opened up, so we've actually driven over the stomach contents and everything else.
I can actually show you that.
Can you? But there are a few tire tracks from vehicles that have driven through it. Because you can't go too close to him, and you've got to get through him. That's life.
Okay, don't move fast.
I could imagine the spiders and other creatures that are coming to eat these flies. And after feeding for some time, the bigger male, the other male, because opportunism is what can make the difference between life and death out here in nature. And if you can find an opportunity, you can take it, you can win a meal, all the better for it, because you save a lot of energy in the process. So he's dragged the carcass in there, he went off to sleep, and then during the day at some stage a vulture arrived. And as a further measure, to protect the carcass, he's now decided to come and sleep right next to it. And it just so happens that it's lying in a place where there's good shade. They're not always going to have this opportunity to find this kind of shade and this kind of cover for their carcasses. Sometimes opportunity presents itself to make a hunt, and they hunt and something lands up being killed in the open, and they can't help it. Within minutes the vultures arrive, and they bring in hyena and jackal and other animals. But these two boys were lucky. They killed a zebra on a really misty morning. It was a morning when it would have taken a long time for the raptors to even think of spreading their wings, because first of all it was very cold, there was a cold wind, there was a very heavy mist. When the mist lifted, there was a bank of cloud coming in. It wasn't good thermal weather. It was a cold wind, so it would have been difficult for raptors to get lift and to get themselves in the air. So they had a good couple of hours grace before the day started warming up for raptors to start flying, by which time they'd had enough to eat. They'd stashed the carcass, and these two boys are now flat cats till this evening. No doubt this evening, after digesting, they're going to get hungry. They'll get up, might even walk down to that little waterhole to have a drink. walk away somewhere and let the digestive system process the whole. Now those push some out and make space for some more. Is it on this side of the fence? No. Defense. That side of defense. So perhaps we should leave. No. Let's go find. No, but there aren't even any tracks of leopard that have been called in. So, oh gosh, sorry, Aaron. Sorry, Aaron, I just radioed down and I had the other radio. I'm all yours. In a manner of speaking. Cool. David. Hey, David. Good point, David. Very good point. When we were arriving here, I was saying they have 8 sharp claws, but they've also got 8 claws on their feet. Quite true, David. Apologies for the mistake. Can't argue with that at all, because they even use those rear claws when it comes to bringing down their prey. Especially something like a really strong zebra, they might have to get onto its back and dig their high claws in to pull it over onto its side. Anything bigger than a zebra, buffalo, giraffe, elephant, they do even use their hind claws to assist in grip and bringing down their prey. So I should have said 16. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever been to a really good dinner where you've actually been really, really hungry, and the dinner just happens to be maybe one of your favorite foods, and this combination of being really hungry and one of your favorite foods results in your eyes being too big for your stomach and you taking in a little bit more than your body can handle, and you end up with this bloated stomach. You might have noticed that it's far more comfortable to deal with over ingestion before even indigestion, but overindulgence, if you breathe shallow and faster, it's not as bad as breathing in heavy and deep. And this is exactly what he's doing. He's breathing fast because his belly's full, and it's the way of a predator. Even though they knew they killed something like a zebra that was big enough to last them a couple of days, just the two of them, they're not likely to get out of the lion. There might be some hyena that'll come and challenge them later. In fact, that'll be quite interesting if we come back here just before we go home. Might be interesting. See the zebra's tail there. But with predators, they don't know where their next meal is coming from, and even though they might catch something fairly large, they don't know that it's not going to get taken away from them. So invariably, it's not a case of, okay, well, I'll eat a little bit now and I'll go to sleep, and then I'll come back and eat a little bit more. It's like, I'll eat as much as I can now, and then as soon as there's room for more, I'll gorge myself again, and I'll just keep keeping my stomach full until it's finished, rather than digest and then eat another full meal. So while they have food like this, I mean, this zebra is 75% still a zebra, if not more. Yeah, well, that's what they fill themselves up on, because that's the richest, it's the highest protein, it's the softest. They've eaten a lot of the thighs, but there's still a lot of both hind legs, both front legs, shoulders, the spine, the neck. Still a lot of muscle. There's still a lot of eating to be done. Could take them another day and a half. Pardon? Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually just wonderful to show how content he is that I can sit here so close to him and talk to the rest of the world in a slightly higher voice or louder voice than I would ordinarily if I'm being this close to a lion. But I'm taking liberties because he has come close to us before. He's come right past the vehicle, and we have spent quite a lot of time with him of late, so I believe that he knows that we're not too much of a threat. Glad you're observant, David. David? My middle name's David, by the way. I'm Mark David Weiner. AKA Mark Davis Weiner, because my mother's maiden name was Davis, so I have a nom de plume, Mark Davis Weiner. No one would ever guess. Better put the radio up. It's probably calling me. Mark, I just sorry, I was on my other radio. Somebody was trying to get me. Somebody got a puncture. Honest, actually. Changing a tire on Susu Dam. Well, let's go driving around. And since this is close to camp, we'll come back here on the way home. Which station coming to Ngala on Ilkley? Because there's not much happening here. These boys are sleeping. They're not going to do much until they get up. When it starts cooling down, end of the day, not much point in actually hanging around with them sleeping. And a little bit later on, they're going to get up, maybe feed again. They might even head down to that water and drink something. As I said earlier, the flood and stuff can be very salty. So, see you later, boy. Okay. tell Aaron about the hill. From Gail, how long or how old the lion has a full-grown mane? Around 5, Gail. Around 5 is when he reaches sort of full adulthood. And then obviously from 5 years old his mane becomes far more. However, there are exceptions to that because in different areas genetics and climate and other factors influence the thickness and extent of the mane. Kudu running around within even earshot of that kill. There's kudu and nyala still moving around, not really bothered much. Suppose they don't have to be lion longer to do anything to them. But yes, in different areas. I mean, if you look at lion from say the Kalahari, for example, and even Serengeti, both places that have wide open spaces and can get rather chilly, lions have exceptionally beautiful long manes. Look at other areas like Selous Game Reserve, Ruaha to some extent, where I've been, up in Tsavo, where the winter temperatures don't really get that bad. There isn't really that much emphasis on the mane, so even a 5-year-old lion or a 6-year-old lion, in fact even an 8-year-old lion could have a mane of a 3-year-old. So unfortunately, once again, we're talking about an answer to a question that should start with it depends, because there are different factors involved. And largely depends on what area of Africa we're talking about, because it's not a uniform thing. It's not that every lion does exactly the same thing throughout Africa. There's so many that throughout Africa the conditions, density of lion, density of other predators, density of prey, topography, rainfall, the diversity of vegetation and the density of vegetation, all of these things play huge roles in the genetic pathway that dictates whether a lion is going to have a big mane at the age of 5 or very, very scrawny and look like a 2-year-old at the age of 5. And I hope that kind of answers the question in a way. Here in this part of the world, simple answer would be 5 to 6 he would have a full mane. And the lion of Kruger, we do get fairly cold temperatures, and there is fair amount of lion competition. I don't know to what extent lion have been studied in Kruger to determine whether the females have sexual preference over males with darker manes and lighter manes, because certainly there have been studies that have been done on open plains like Serengeti and that might have a lot to do with it. In that open grasslands like Serengeti and Ngorongoro Crater, where they do have big full manes, maybe it's easier to spot a big male lion with a dark mane from far away, so his dominance can be assured on a visual front as well as all the other olfactory and auditory and other signals that he extends when he's got his territory. And a dark maned lion, just by virtue of his size and the size of his mane, over a distance is preferable to a lighter maned lion who might not be so visible from a distance, and where sight isn't so much of a big thing. Maybe sexual preference for the darker or lighter maned lion has got nothing to do with it. Maybe there's a different criteria that would females accept males into their, because ultimately, there's a little bit of a misconception that it's a big male that has a territory and he has all the females. It's actually the other way around. It's actually the sisterhood of females that decide, okay, here's a hunt, here's a pretty good looking dude, looks like he can protect us for a while and protect our cubs and help us kill big animals. Let's employ him. We'll put him to the test. We'll let him into the fold and we'll see how well he defends the territory. And if he does a good job, we'll let him mate with us and we'll let him produce some cubs, because we know if he does a good job, he can at least keep others at bay until our youngsters are old enough to move on and ensure their survival. Because if he's a wimp and he mates with us and we have these cubs and they get to be 6 months old and then big macho comes along and kicks out the wimp, macho's going to kill our children and make us have his children. It's not a bad thing because it's stronger genes. Sorry, am I rattling on? Well, so there's so many different factors involved, and in a thicker bush environment like this, maybe the thickness of the mane and the color of the mane doesn't play that much of a role in females determining whether they're suitors, they're nice in manes of armors of manes. Can hold sway long enough. Different criteria, different climate, different conditions. Nature is wonderful. It is what keeps me at it all my life, because that's one of the things that has made me go to so many different countries in Africa, to see the same animals that I live with and to see how differently they do things in different parts of Africa. How in the Okavango Delta they've got to deal with so much water to get from island to island, and how in places like the Kalahari, although I'd be fibbing if I said that I've been to the Kalahari, because I haven't, but I just know about them because I've read and watched a lot about the lion in Kalahari, but they don't have the access to water, and the lions of Etosha. Then you get the lions of Selous, that water plays a very big role in, because there's so much of it, in determining territory size. Water more than anything else there. The rivers and the river of the Rufiji is one thing, but it's the 5 series of lakes that hold the key to who has the best territory with population of lion. How different it is to Ruaha, where there are no lakes but there are 2 main river systems, and how the prides of lion there have survived over centuries of depending on the, not really a migration, but the seasonal movement of giant herds of, when I say giant herds, I'm talking about 600,000-800,000 strong buffalo that have these very particular, I suppose we could call it migration, but seasonal movement. And the seasonal movement moves through so many different lion territories, and how all the different lions interact with this giant herd of buffalo, whether they use them as food or they ignore them and use them as cover to hunt smaller prey because they're only females or something. But I was getting back to the point that the king of the beasts, it's kind of quite a typical scenario. The male always thinks he's king of the house, but he's only got his wife's permission to say so. And it's kind of the same with the big male lion, because the strength is in the pride of the female. The strength is in the bond of the females and their youngsters. And they need a male or good male to maintain that, to not allow disruption to them. And they have this uncanny ability to find the right males that will do that, and to dupe them into thinking that it's all their territory and it was all their idea to begin with. But the males move on. Big male holds the territory for maybe 5 years at the most. Big male can't, even a coalition, can't hold territory for very long. They come into their prime at 5 to 6 years old. By 9, 10 years old, it's time for them to move on. Their teeth are worn, they can't defend, they're not reproducing the same way they were when they were 6 years old or 7 years old. I bet it's this. I forgot to do this because I'm just wrong. Aaron's one's fine. Aaron hasn't been able to get a word in edgeways. Well, Station, let's a lot from Madonna and Gala to on the Yama. Okay, probably left to the open lock. I don't think they're going to move far. Where's the walk with? Thomas, he was there this morning. Unfortunately, he knows where it is. The raft. Stand by one. Sorry, I got interrupted by the radio. Go, Aaron. Go, buena, Aaron. Rafiki yangu. Moira. Report, please. Two interesting questions from Moira in the UK. Hello, Moira. Nice to hear from you. Pardon? No, I was just looking at it. I thought it might need a one. But hello, Moira. Nice to have you on board. Two-part question from Moira. First part was, I think, that the other male, the older male, the other one, the one that was a little bit shy and a little bit uppity, so I think he might have been because he was injured. No, I don't think so. Because I would have to be responsible for his injury for him to take it out on me. In my opinion. I don't think he was injured badly. I think that is a chronic condition that he's living with, just by the looks of things. Looks like maybe he got bumped in the hip or something. Could have been, I don't know this for sure, but could have been he did something during the hunt today. That is possible. Not beyond the realm. But I would guess that he was a little bit concerned because he hasn't really seen us before. He is not a big male that I followed along the fence line a few weeks ago. I haven't seen him before. And he is supposedly the brother of the little boy. And I think that to some degree that the young male, I think we've got to give him a name before we leave, and I'm not supposed to, but really, he's Lionel. His name's Lionel. See, I've done it. Yeah, Lionel the Leo. Lionel. Okay, let's call him Lionel. No, Lionel. Lionel the Lion, because it's Lionel, so it's Lionel Lion. makes sense to call him Lionel. But I'll do that also in honor of my uncle Lionel, who passed away 2 years ago. So Lionel was relaxed, and I think the fact that he was relaxed tended to calm down the other one. But the other one hasn't seen us. I don't know how he behaved with the other vehicles. So I don't know whether he was upset with them or whether he behaved the same way. By all intents and purposes, it looks like it, because he's hiding out. He's tucked himself away at the back there, and I don't know what he's going to do when the other vehicle gets there. What's he looking for? That leopard again? Yeah. Okay. Pardon? Now, the second part of Moira's question. So Moira, I think it's just he doesn't know us very well, and also he hasn't been into Thornybush. The guys were actually talking to me on the radio earlier. I'm going to be going over to the lodge tomorrow and talking to some of the guys. I'm going to take a memory stick with some photos of them. I mean, we don't need to really discuss the younger male because he's got that scar on his lip and we know him well. And as you know, he's Becky's favorite cat here. I think he's more Becky is his favorite because somehow he just comes out for Becky. Second time Becky's found him. Anyway, second part of Moira's question was those worms, because when we drove over the stomach contents this morning to try and get some better views, another thing that Becky noticed that I didn't really look at, because I'm not looking at the stomach contents, I'm looking at the lion because I'm driving really close to him, and I've got Becky sticking out at the top of the vehicle, and Moira would kill me if anything happened to Becky. Of course, can't let that happen. So I was concentrating on that. Becky said there was some worms, so we had a look, and lo and behold, in the stomach contents were some nematodes. Wait, just gonna have a look at the fan. Might as well be here. So there were some nematodes, some internal parasitic worms that must have been within the gut of the zebra that are part of the zebra's life. They probably in some ways help with digestion to some degree. But they also might help, or they might hinder the zebra by also helping to produce more gases in the gut, speeding up the fermentation process which aids in digestion. You know, there can be healthy nematodes for a stomach, for a digestion. But Moira was asking, so would those worms then be... Okay, what? Okay, now we're going to go find the link. Yeah. Okay, we're going to cruise the river bit. We're going to cruise along the river. But, let's see where are we. Okay, let's do this. Yours. Maybe. Take it anyway. Oh, if it's a large, it's yours. Mine wasn't. Mine was a stretch medium. They stretch those fleeces, fortunately. Yo. Hello, Flick. I know exactly how you feel, young lady. Bonjour, or should I say bonsoir, mon chéri, ça va bien? Comment ça va? Quebec, Montreal. Canada saying how an elephant would be appreciated. Gee, don't I know that? Apart from the fact that it's sunset and an elephant would be appreciated now at sunset. Hello, buffalo. Hiding in the thorns. But strangely enough, none of them are buffalo thorns. Do you think the buffalo doesn't...
nothing comes through the buffalo.
No, they're supposed to only lie in buffalo. That's why it's called buffalo thorns. Somebody didn't teach this stuff. Yeah, this reminds me of an email I got the other day from... Oh, I'm sorry if I've forgotten who it came from, because there's so many emails. I hope you understand, but you'll probably remind me, no doubt. I got an email with a sound clip of a woman that phoned into a radio station in Minnesota. Of course, it had to be Minnesota. Sorry, Paula. In Minnesota, complaining about the deer sign. Why do they put the deer sign, the signs that warn you of deer crossing? Why do they put them at the high traffic areas where the deers get knocked over? No, wait, that wasn't it. Where deer can get knocked over, because those are high traffic areas. Why don't they put the deer crossing signs at like low traffic areas where, or even where crossing guards are at school crossings, zebra crossings, so that the deer can cross in places where it's not so dangerous? And I don't quite realize that the sign's the warning for the humans. The deer don't know that that's where they have to cross the road. She was under the impression that the deer only crossed the road where the signs were, and that's the... I mean, you look the other day, Aaron and I, there we were approaching Longwan Dam, and suddenly there was Norman the elephant drinking. So, while I'm fairly certain there are no elephants south of the Aleti Road, you never know. The only way to find out is to drive and look and see and find. See if we can find. So, Flick, did you see the lion earlier? I wonder. Hidden bumps on the grass. Oh, look, there's elephant dung up ahead. Does that count?
Almost.
Come on.
It kind of resembles
Except it's rather old dung. A few weeks ago. So, it'll work with a good insect repellent. again? Did you leave that in Gala? Okay, yeah, I did see that other Matore. He was, there's a track, the guys made a track going north from that bumper. He was just off that track going north from that bumper. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Okay, was there any other mover there? Okay, copy, thanks. So it's obviously been a boring afternoon in the north. It looks like we're going to get back to the line this afternoon. Well, there's just too many vehicles going in and out. Because they're gonna be there after dark as well. You know, on their night drive with the lights, probably when hyena might be coming around. So we're not gonna get back to the lion kill this afternoon. What we will do though is we will be there early tomorrow, because there might even be hyena or two hanging around. So we don't have to go there now. We'll go in the morning and see how things can change in the morning. We can just carry on along Bushfiller, along the northern bank of the river, and see if those leopards come back. So he ran away from the vehicle. He didn't run away from us. So 2 minutes after he told me they're not going to go looking for him, what does he do? He goes looking for him and chases him away. Oh, there's a kudu. Big one. Like, it might be nice if he comes through, say, where the sun is. Oh, there's another youngster there coming through the gap, young female, running away, and then of course the bull's going to chase her. Too quick. Way too quick. High five, worry. Thanks, Aaron. Pardon? Any?
Other line in this area.
No. They haven't even found the black campground. There's no tracks. But nobody's picked up any tracks of the rest of the pride. Quite sad that to relinquish that lion fighting to the hordes. But the guests are paying guests, and we here at their grace, their lodges. So niet there. Hendrik is right. Aaron, do you know if Nick and his wife and their guests know that there's lion are there? Yeah, so. I forgot completely. I said that I'd tell you to let them know if the lion is still on the kill. They might be with Hendrik. But maybe they're with Hendrik. You could just maybe have a look and see if they're still on their stuff. Okay, we can just give a message from me and say that the other lion is still on that zebra kill on the fence line. Yeah, I sort of more or less said, but yeah, the eastern fence line, if you carry on from the gate and you go east from the gate. Yeah, a lot of spikes. I mean, this is the northern bank of the Thornybush River now. So yeah, it's pretty thick. Leopard country. Okay, thanks, Aaron. Mark, you go. Last station calling Mark. Negative, I'm not going to be able to film off the sunset, so I won't be online after that. Okay, Craig, will forgive you. Elephant on Master Eagle to hook cut line. Still just a little bit too north for me. Oops. So what we're going to do is we're going to go look for a place for sunset. And see if we can find our wildebeest herd, our local yokels. Because I really can't get very far right now. I mean, it's close to the end of the drive. I'm not going to go too far north. So we're going to just cross the river and go back south and amble around with the local herd of impala and zebra and wildebeest if we can find them, and hopefully see a sunset, getting close to sunset. Let's cool there. Let's think. But from your height you can I can't see them from this bull or what? Oh, there. He's back. Okay, wow. Actually, you know what we can do? We can't go to the line. What we can do is we can go to Hamacook Pass. Maybe those cats will come back that way. That would be interesting. So yes, here we have a sunset. You know what, also, in the next few days, weeks, the sun's going to be coming back down the river. It's going to be quite a lovely sunset. Quite pretty. Want to see if you can do anything with that while I put on a jacket, jersey, a jerkin. Put on some made in South Africa. Ooh. Support local. Definitely. Did you? Oh. Oh. Got a vehicle waiting to come faster. Must be Robert. Robert, come in. Didn't know that I was holding up the traffic, but I suppose, you know, it's the time of day, peak hour traffic. What to do, what to do. To the lion, they're going to the lion. Lion is walking. Okay, turn that off. Turn Aaron up. Yo. Sure. Okay. Thanks. Message from FC. Probably thanks. Thanks, Lazar. Yes. That means we are going next door. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Oh, you have. Of course you have. 100 times. I was actually trying to calculate it. I think I must have done nearly about 100 drives by now. I wonder, that's actually quite interesting. Although the point is really doing it now. Doing a count now. There's the water. Maybe another one of those two boys. Every time we miss them. As soon as I start to dart it out of a burrow. Just a nicely framed entrance as well. Beautiful tree against the termite mound, and the entrance 3/4 of the way up the termite mound. Two blueberries next to each other. Burst out of that termite mound in a cloud of dust. There they are there. Well, one of them. Sorry, piglet. There's the other boy. So this time it's 2 boars. Last time it was family. Maybe because mom and piglet were still out foraging. Late afternoon. Not going to take long for it to hit that crest. I don't know if you can close your iris a bit, it's not so blinding, but it is quite decent. It's not quite sunset because there's a ridge there. And just because it goes down behind the ridge doesn't mean that it's sunset. Sunset for us. Of the sunset photograph. one eventually gets after time. And there comes a plane across the sunset up there, with its contrail going to be shining a big bright stripe across the sky. What? To get that plane, you can actually see the sun shining off the fuselage of the airplane as far as it is. I mean, it's probably at cruising altitude of 30-something thousand feet, but we're also getting the sun shining on the underneath of it. And that would be flying up north to, could be going to Dubai, could be going to Nairobi, Dar es Salaam. Always wonder what flight path that is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like dropping a degree a second. Well, not quite, because a minute doesn't mean it drops 60 degrees.
Well, you never know. Could pick up.
Hear a helicopter. Yo. Thanks, Karen in Memphis. If I'm not mistaken. Karen sent me the crazy clip, or the clip of the crazy lady and the deer crossing story on some radio station. Yeah, we did. I couldn't resist listening to that. Sharon, sorry, not Karen. Sorry, Sharon. Sharon. Sent it in. Goodbye, sunshine. We'll see you tomorrow at about 6:40, maybe. Sometime after 6:30 when we start our drive, we will see the sunrise. Until then, America, it's all yours. And South America and that Western Hemisphere, you can have the sunshine for now. We had a good one today. Wasn't very effective today. I'm not very. It was cloudy, windy, it was overcast. It was dusty and it was bumpy, and I've been sitting in a vehicle 6 o'clock this morning with brief interludes of not sitting in a vehicle. I got into a vehicle at 6 o'clock this morning to start the drive at 6:30. I got back at 9:30 and got into my Land Rover just after 10 o'clock. I was in my Land Rover till just after 1 o'clock. In fact, no, I was in my Landy until after 2 o'clock. I had a quick shower and then I got back into this Land Rover. So, you'll forgive me if I'm a little bit... no, I'm not really out of sorts. I need to do more. I need to do something else other than sit in a Land Rover, because it's nearly 12 hours. Take off half an hour here and there. It comes down to about 10, 11 hours that I've been sitting in a vehicle. And I haven't gone anywhere. In a normal car, I could have gotten halfway to Cape Town. In my Land Rover, it would have gotten me to Dalstra. It would have gotten me maybe 500 kilometers. 350 miles. But I'm still in the same place I was this morning. So I've had some amazing sights along the way. I've done a very long journey today. I've done a lot of driving, and it has taken quite a bit out of me. Perhaps one of the reasons why I'm babbling so much this afternoon, a bit of sleep deprivation and hypoglycemia and bordering hypothermia and confirmed lunacy and no, not dementia, not yet. Not yet. Too young for that.
Never know what happens now.
You know. Now, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for yesterday. I did almost exactly the same thing. I spent at least 10 hours in a Land Rover yesterday. So I'm a little bit Land Rover weary today. Never thought I'd say that. In fact, I shouldn't really say that, because I could spend all my life driving around. But it's some of the, I don't know, go to Equinox yesterday. I shoot through. We had a long morning because of the leopards. Shoot through the Equinox because I've only got 2 more days to pick up a bank card that I need, because I don't carry cash, and when I buy things I need my bank card. And I get to the bank and I get to Equinox and Africa strikes. There's a power outage in the entire town. The bank's closed its doors and locked it, and there's a queue from here to next week standing outside the doors, all with their pay slips and their little envelopes and their ID books, and everybody's standing in a long queue line. We call it a queue, you call it a line. I know Q isn't a straight thing, it's a round letter, but it's a QU. Anyway, didn't have a very good sense of humor after that, having gone away to Equinox. Needless to say, tomorrow's the last time. Otherwise, they've got to issue a new one, and I've got to wait a few weeks until that. Bank, my nemesis. You're a red tape. What I can pretty much guarantee is a good night's sleep tonight, I think. I'm already thinking of being horizontal. Book in hand, reading maybe 2 lines of script before the book falls on my face and I fall asleep. Yo, Buena Aaron. Gena. Hello, Dina in Michigan. Have I been to Peach Pond? And would I do a drive there? No idea. You're near. No, I haven't been to Shatu. Peach Pond is in Mashatu in Botswana. It's actually close to the South African border with Botswana. Although I have spent time in Botswana. I never got to Mashatu. I was only in the Okavango Delta. And yes, I would gladly do a drive at Peter Pond. Imagine we took a digger to Peter Pond and we managed to drive around just for a few days, weeks, to see all those animals that you only ever see at Peter Pond. And we actually get to follow them away from the pond. I think it'll be pretty exciting. I haven't spent much time looking at Peter Pond on the camp, but I have seen a few things of it and the pondies that come along with it. And, well, a lot of old regulars, a lot of familiar names and faces. Thornybush again. Zebra. Hello, Mangwa. Where are you off? You're going down to the pond to drink water. Just grazing. I think this might be our local yokel. Maybe, maybe not. Quite a big mare, that. Hello, Mr. Z, bro. Hello? Always a little bit odd seeing the likes of those male lion eating that zebra, having killed it. Go forward a little. And then seeing those that get to live another day. Is that good? Fish? Or is that marula in the way now? Alright, are you going to eat some leaves? As usual. Thornybush. The Mayarua that it's eating from is known to be very high in protein, those leaves, very nutritious. It's unusual for a grazer to be eating from leaves, that's all. A little unusual. slippers on because my feet are cold. But I put them on the wrong feet. Swap them over. Sorry for the fiddling. It's getting a little bit chilly. Recently we had Venus and Mercury together. I guess it's no, it probably has great implications in terms of every planet has its own effect on our planet. When they're two planets together, it's like this. I mean, that's the whole basis behind astrology. True astrology, not horoscope astrology, but each planet having its own effect on our planet, and when there are 2 or 3 planets aligned, then it has a different effect. I think it's, for me, it's one of the very defining factors of the biodiversity of the planet, that everything is governed in some ways by the effects of the moon and the sun and the stars and the planet. Anyway, my theories shall remain simple. I just want to see if Billy's up here. Billy and the other wildebeest. That's a nice name for a rock band. Billy and the wildebeest. Come on, somebody. Billy and the wildebeest for a blues band. Billy and the wildebeest, big blues band. Couldn't get a better alliteration than that. I'll play saxophone, and then I'll wake up and the coffee will be cold. Name. Okay, that came in here. Somebody said name. Okay, so what genre would you have? Buena Aaron. Country and West. No, I'm saying Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, he loves it. I'll often hear him talk about you.
Oh, by the way, everybody, I found another baobab, but it's not on Thornybush. It's on the road to Acorn Hook. Negative, negative. So then what? What should I say? So what then? So then what? So what then? Dubstep.
How are you going to play a dubstep?
No, it's not that. You can't have Billy and the Wildebeest, the dubstep band. It doesn't really work. Sorry. Billy and the Wildebeest, big blue band. Makes sense. Rockabilly. classic rock, jazz, and blues. Some serious guitar sliding, rock and roll. Kind of cross between ZZ Top, Leonard Skinner, and drive-by truckers, with a bit of government mule thrown in, and then of course to the beat of Tennessee Ellis and Dave Brubeck and Dave Matthews and Miles Davis. So I'm just talking nonsense now. Yo. Sing the song. Hello, Marjo in the Netherlands. What have you got for me, Marjo? Hello. What? Oh, wow, look at that. Another plane. Getting cooler. Contrail's bigger. Let's see if we can pick it up while I'm answering Marjo's question. And there's a Daker too. I thought it was a tree song. Anyway, it might be time to answer a question and say goodbye. Marjo, where are the females and the cubs? I don't know. Nobody's found them today. They had tracks, but I think somewhere on Jackleberry near I'm not even going to say because I don't really know. If I say something, I'll probably make it up because no, I haven't heard whether they haven't found them. Definitely haven't found them. Then, Marjo was asking if either of the two males that we saw today, if either of them are the father of those cubs from the Black Dam Pride. And no, the young male that we saw is the brother of the mothers of some of the cubs. And is the sister, no, he's the brother of the two young females of the Black Dam Pride. So the old female is the mother of the two younger females, and him, then there are 4 cubs underneath all of them, younger than all of them. And it is thought that the other male is another youngster of hers from a different litter before she came to Thornybush. He is not from Sandringham. They believe he's from Timbervarty. And tomorrow we will be able to determine. I'm going up to one of the lodges tomorrow. I'm going up to Royal Malawan. And I'm going to spend the evening looking at photographs, and I'm going to get some onto memory stick, and I'll take some photographs up there. And I expect that in a week or so I'll get an answer, because it will need to do the rounds, and the guys will need to discuss it as to who the other male lion is. So you're getting that little boy ducker as well? Or no, he's off. So that was another international flight with a pink contrail. And then Marjo was saying that when Marjo was here, she heard a mention of a lion by the name of Marvin. But I'm white. And Marvin is a male lion from way up in the north, in the northern part of Thornybush. He has come down this way on occasion. But I suspect rather that his presence is what has caused our young male. You know, Lionel. I've named him Lionel, or I'll refer to him as our young male, because we've had him around here quite a lot. The son of the Black Dam female, the brother to the females that are the daughters of the. It's going to confuse everybody with all of this. This thing in my ear. Actually, I don't need it because I'm saying goodbye anyway. I don't listen to anything else. So where was I? This big male, that when he comes down here to talk to some of these females and test them for estrus, that's when the young male comes down here, our male. And it would appear that this other male has come in as well from the Timbervarty somewhere, and he's possibly an older brother. So it's also possible that they'll form an alliance, that they will become a coalition. speculation, very much like I was speculating what was going on when he was on his own and the females weren't answering him. This is very much the same thing. So that we can speculate, and then of course what's going to happen is what really happens is something that we never even thought of to begin with, because how nature works. I don't think we'll ever get to see Marvin. I'm not sure. We might be lucky, but this is a little bit too far south for him. You know, lions have a territory. They don't go wandering out of their territory. And he might incorporate the black dam female, this Marvin, in his territory, and I have no doubt that he is most likely the father of these new cubs. No doubt. In fact, I'm 100% sure that he's the father of the 4 cubs that are part of the black dam pride. But I don't think he's the father of this young male we're now calling Lionel, or his brother or his sisters. And obviously because the sisters are adult, they've had their own cubs, he's okay with them, but he definitely wouldn't be okay with any young males in his territory, which is one of the reasons why these two are probably down here right now. So, the joys of living here for another month, hopefully, is to be able to follow them and to find out some of these answers to what is happening with these lions. And the only way we will know is by following them, and time will tell. Because there's certainly no guessing. Whatever we guess will definitely not be the answer. It will more likely be something that we didn't even think of. So it's getting dark. I'm fading away into the blackness of your screen. Brian's been on camera, and Aaron in final control. And from all of us here at Thornybush, it's been a lovely afternoon. Not too much action for Lion. We'll pick up on that story tomorrow. So I hope you're going to join us 6:30 Central African time. And, well, from me, Mark, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.